Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Alan Van Norman, and I come to this discussion first and foremost as a father of 3 students. But I'm also a licensed educator in the state of Colorado. I've taught in RE1, I've taught in RE2, and I currently teach for a public charter school. My wife and I have homeschooled our children in the past, and we've also chosen traditional classroom settings offered here in Fremont County. And the best decision we've ever made was to join with Madison Exploratory. The program is remarkably successful due to its small size. The exploratory model has spurred growth in our kids at a pace that's not possible in other schools. As many of us know as educators, that growth can be the hardest thing to measure and even harder to foster in the classroom. Some of the proposed changes seek to embrace the exploratory model, and that's great. I invite that success. It'll be awesome for the new areas in the district. But the exploratory model can be a success for a large student body only if it's implemented over time. And so I'm of the feeling that one swift change involving a student body of 300 or more would not be a success. The years of working with students at this level of pedagogy gives rise to positive results, but the practices that come from traditional education method almost have to be unlearned, and it can seem counterintuitive to go to an exploratory model. And out of professional courtesy for Madison and the other RE1 school staff members, I think the board really needs to recognize a realistic timeline for implementing the exploratory model. As educators, we've all experienced the yearly upgrades and the new ideas and method that are being laid out before us and proclaim the best new way to move forward. Each year overlapping and in some cases negating the previous year's changes. I'm sure you've all had that experience as educators. My concern is that implementing too much too fast can toughen and jade our wonderful teachers in this district with that kind of experience, as I've seen in the past. And I can say with confidence, with the guidance of a well-planned leadership, we can all come together and create a swift fiscal solution with longevity for the future in its roots, combined with a fresh new opportunity for all of our kids. The proposed prospects of a K-8 exploratory school within the building of the old Harrison building is a reasonable stepping stone, in my opinion. Allowing for slow integration of an exploratory model would lessen the growing pains and give an opportunity to slowly and confidently train interested educators in the community from other schools. In addition, this kind of method teaching or educator training facility would also be a positive draw for some of the finest new teachers coming out of colleges and universities in the surrounding areas, which could be a real positive benefit for Fremont County. The last thing I'd like to say is, well, I'm out of time. Well, Josh and I thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving me time to speak tonight. As principal of Lincoln Elementary, I bring to you 2 topics, recommendation 6 and recommendation 10, specifically options 2 and option 4. Recommendation 6, Lincoln School as a science and technology school. The staff at Lincoln School has been informed of this recommendation. Our initial response was positive, followed by lots of questions. We did meet with Dr. Gouldy, Carol Brown, and Nick Croce on March 22nd, just prior to spring break, to discuss this recommendation. On Wednesday, April 4th, the staff will have their regular staff meeting, and we will continue to discuss and explore this recommendation. After reflecting on the March 22nd discussion, and ultimately we are awaiting your decision on that recommendation. Recommendation number 10, options 4 and 2. Specifically the phrase that speaks about being a school of choice regarding all students to apply for acceptance via transfer. As building principal, I ask that you give mindful thought to this statement. Please be proactive in considering short-term effects, such as fall 2012 registration, long-term effects 3 to 5 years down the road, in terms of regarding any application process and the newly defined neighborhood schools, Lincoln Elementary as the elementary school neighborhood school, and Harrison for the middle school neighborhood school in options 2 and 4. Consider possible community perceptions about any application process that may negatively divide our schools into an accept or denial process. As we move forward, with the necessary reorganization of schools, let's put into place systems where our schools can move forward together and families feel welcome. Each Canyon City school offers quality education and unique cultures and opportunities for learning. I suggest that instead of an application process, we look at an enrollment agreement during student registration to describe each school's philosophy and expectation, and simply use our current transfer process to offer school of choice rather than any application process. Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jim Mines,
Thanks.
and I am a parent of 2 children in the district, a high school senior that has taken advantage of so many good things in this district. And now I have also a 6th grade daughter that I would like to see have the same advantages. I've also been a middle school teacher for 22 years and have coached 50 seasons of athletics. My concern is the combining of middle school sports here in the district, and my biggest concern is the loss of opportunity. I've coached, I suppose by this time, thousands of kids that have gotten the opportunity to participate and become part of the school community, which I think is really important at the middle school level. If kids don't find their way in middle school, they're often lost by the end of middle school and all the way into high school. And by not having those opportunities available, I think we'll lose some kids. I taught in New Mexico for 6 years at the beginning of my career. And Albuquerque made decisions to cut athletics in their junior highs, and they had the highest rate of gang affiliation for the next 3 years after that. And although I don't think gang affiliation is a big problem here, I do wonder what those kids are going to do. You know, my son started in middle school track and cross country, and then 4 years of tennis in the high school, as well as encore and musical, and I can't tell you what a difference it's made in his life. Who he's become, the academics are important, obviously. He's done well with that, the teachers have done well with that. But the growth and the confidence and the understanding he's learned through all of these areas, I don't think can be met in any other place. And now I have a 6th grade daughter that's entering all these areas, again, music and athletics. And I'd love to see her have the opportunity, but it's a more global thing. After having worked with a lot of kids, I'd like to see all the kids have as much opportunity as possible. I've not coached in cut sports because of this particular philosophy. I know it's necessary, we have to do it, but I can never tell a kid no. We have to have the opportunity for everybody. And I know it's challenging with the cost cutting, but how many kids will we be having walking the streets, doing something other than what we would like them to do, versus with a quality educator after school, keeping them involved, becoming part of our school community and then part of our Kansas City community. So I'm sure you've thought of this, but I really encourage you to look at those things. Where will these kids go? What will they do if they don't have these opportunities? Again, I've seen it firsthand in kids that are not mine and then kids that are mine. And I thank you for listening to me. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bill Amana, and I'm a parent of a student at the Canyon City Middle School. I was also a member of the Budget Reduction Committee. And I just have a few comments about some of the recommendations that were made, and a few other comments about the combining of schools. First off, looking at the recommendations, recommendations 1 through 4 really have to do with, and I'll just summarize them. Combining middle school athletics was a savings of about $50,000. Reducing some administrative positions for a savings of $175,000. There was an early retirement incentive, which provided $125,000 savings, and then there was long-term disability insurance, discontinuing that for a savings of $25,000. So really through those options, it came to a total of $375,000. So then looking at that, and the reason why I point these out is just to really show the challenge that you guys have in front of you. With $375,000, then the next, if you look at the next recommendations, it's recommendations 5 through 9, which really don't address the savings or more in tune with improving school academics, which I think all of those recommendations are a good thing, and I applaud you for putting those forward. I think those will help education in the district. Then comes the big one of school closures. And when you look at those options, even if you take option 4, which had the biggest cost savings, I think it was $412,000, you're looking at a total savings based on all those recommendations of $867,000, so that which still leaves you short of what you need to do there. So I just coming to you when I was on the budget reduction committee, I guess what I wanted to point out is there were some other things that came to light there that could be some opportunities for you. Those were all presented to you, but one of them was 4-day-a-week school week, a savings of $115,000 roughly. That's something I think you might want to consider whether you can implement it now or as soon as you could implement it, because that's something that could provide a savings with a minimal impact. And there was also some other things that could be done with special fees. So just want to ask you to look at those and consider those as well.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Kyle Horde, a parent of a Harrison student. Obviously, there are tough decisions to be made. You just heard the financial numbers. You can't just do one option. There's got to be multiple options done here. That's clearly said, and there's going to be disappointed people in the community no matter which way you go. It's just the fact. And I believe the entire community should be taken into consideration, not one particular school over another, but what's best for all. There's no question some schools should be closed, boundaries changed to cut costs. Obviously, larger class sizes. We already know about Garden Park, but Madison and Skyline probably will end up along that lines, and that's something I would say probably needs to happen. Maybe they need to close. It's not because the schools aren't successful or needed, it's just basic dollars and cents. There is no reason why Madison couldn't become a school within a current school and maintain that curriculum. That is an option we can explore. One of my concerns is the creation of a K-8 school at the current CCMS facility. Lots been said about an exploratory curriculum with 300 elementary and 300 middle school students attend. There are some reasons I'm concerned. Are there 600 students wanting to attend for the current Madison school? Is there data to support that? If only 100 elementary and 100 middle school students attend, how will the other elementary schools and Harrison Middle School absorb those numbers? That would be a huge burden, not on facility, but on teacher as well. If students must apply to kids with multiple office referrals be accepted, would they be forced to go to other elementary schools, create more pressure on those staff? How would you balance that out? One of the examples I use is in Pueblo. There are 4 schools, Corwin, Freed, Pitts, and Roncalli, that currently experience that. At one point, only one of those 4 was a failing school. Corwin became a magnet school. Now there are 3 schools that are below the line. One school, Corwin, is succeeding. They put all their eggs in one basket, created pressure, it backfired. Now they're trying to find a way to fix it. Let's not go that direction. CCMS currently is not set up for elementary and work needs to be done. There's no playground. That is going to be a requirement. It's not set up for kindergarten. If there's a need for exploratory school on a large scale, where's the data to support it again? One solution I would like to think of is, what if Washington maybe became a K through 3 for current Washington and Skyline students? CCMS becomes a 4th through 8th grade. That solves some of your construction issues, gets rid of some playground issues. There are no easy decisions to be made. There are lots of options out there, but it's not one option that's going to have to be hit. It may be 2 or even 3. And I would like to leave with this. We as a community, we need to make a deep commitment to equity and have clear instructional focus all aligned in a coherent effort to serve all of our students in Canyon City. Our children deserve the best. You have done that for a long time. I ask that you continue to do that. There's a great staff and administration here in Canyon City, and we will support whatever decision you make.
Thank you, God. Thank you. We thank every single one of you for coming. Appreciate it. And our next board meeting, regular board meeting, will be next Monday night, the 9th. Thank you.